was about that how recycling started in the gold rush. Well, actually, it did not start during the gold rush. It started before the gold rush from the Native Americans, because the Native Americans would recycle everything that they had. And when she was talking about when they would find the wood and they would keep it and stuff, well, from the ships, well, that was found from sunken ships in the ocean and other places, and there was a lot of sunken ships and a lot of disasters, and a lot of them happened from all the things that people did to get the gold. So it was their fault. And it was really hard on the Native Americans during that time because people would kill them and hurt them just so they can get the gold, and they were being so greedy when they came to their land, and they thought that there was, oh, now it's my land. Well, it wasn't. It was the Native Americans' land, and they were the ones that found gold, and they were taking the gold from them, but it was actually theirs. So if anybody thinks, like, John A. Sutter found the gold at first, and that's why everybody came to the Native Americans' land. And now they're taking over the Native Americans' land and thinking it was theirs. And they 120,000 Native Americans died from just being greedy. And another thing is the new settlers would trick the Native Americans. On one of the things, the Native Americans didn't know the value of the gold when they found it, so the new settlers would trick them into trading things that were less value. For example, glass beads. They would trade them for glass beads, and they would give them chunks of gold, a lot of gold. And then they would find out the value, and that's where all the fighting began, from the new settlers. It was not to do anything with the Native Americans. And yes, it was a good time. Yeah, we found gold, but it was also not the first gold rush. There was another gold rush that was discovered many years ago, but then it went away. Thank you. Transportation.
These things that my friends had said led to murder, mostly, especially for the gold. For example, James Eggins killed a man in a saloon. John C. Devine beat a man to death by a rock. David S. Terry killed U.S. Senator David C. Broderick in a duel. People had been hung for their crimes, which many police officers had not found out, because there was not many at that time. There was also a lot of drug uses, just like opium. And especially there was, etc., not a lot of police officers. Because when people would do these crimes, they would be roaming the streets and they would get away with this, but these police officers would be staring at them being like, oh, that person did not do anything, and they would walk them watch by. When these people had been killed, well, other people, just like how John C. Devine beat a man to death by a rock, and none of the police officers had found that out. During the gold rush, there had been a lot of slavery. For example, African Americans had been imported from their land back to California and had been sent from there to work for their masters. But during the gold rush, there were free men But then when the African Americans came, they had to serve and they had to do what they were rightfully had to do. During this, if they were not doing what was right and they did something that messed up, like when there was a chunk of gold in the water and they saw it and they like tried to take it or they panned for it in a wrong way, then their masters would actually murder them because they didn't do the right thing. The gold fever happened when people spread out that John A. Sutter had found the gold and went to go search for gold. During this, that the gold fever happened, it had spread out to locals actually all over California, like from Portland or Asia, and they actually rode a train or some sort of thing and drove it to California to find this gold. During this, these people had seen the African Americans during the gold rush. But then at night, when the masters for the Native Americans had, African Americans had, when they were sleeping, the African Americans had tried to sneak out or try and find gold for themselves so that later on they could exchange the gold and become free African Americans.